From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update.
Dennis's Heating and Air Conditioning is Northern California's premier heating and air conditioning contractor. From residential housing, large commercial projects, installation to repair, sheet metal fabrication, and everything in between, we are your go-to heating and air conditioning specialist.
Well, the weekend is almost here, and we've been looking at this trend the last several weeks where it gets pretty, the temperatures aren't that bad during the week, but then just in time for the weekend, it heats up. But it looks like we're going to keep the trend of this cooler weather even into the weekend. In fact, not much change even going well into next week with no big heat waves in the forecast, but I am tracking and monitoring the potential for thunderstorms in the mountains in the long range. And we'll talk about that here a little bit later. Let's talk about that fire danger. Now, earlier, of course, we were talking about a fire weather watch. It's been upgraded to a red flag warning for your Saturday. Now, that's mainly for eastern Siskiyou County and Modoc County. Now, this tends to change on a regular basis. So just look at this as, hey, this is an area where we've got our eyes on. But keep in mind, even areas outside of these warnings, we've still got to be careful. Especially where we're still seeing some gusty winds, even off in the eastern portions of Lassen and even Plumas counties. So the red flag warning criteria, we're not concerned about this at least right now. So number two, we don't have to really worry about. It's this up here, the humidity levels and the gusty winds. If you see gusts of 25 miles per hour or higher for about a 3-hour period, and on top of that, 15% or less relative humidity, that's when the National Weather Service decides to issue a red flag warning. And on top of that, if it's a few days out, a fire weather watch, if that's within the forecast. All right, so yesterday, you may recall, this was all yellow, indicating a low risk for fire potential. But now you'll notice we're looking at a lot of brown in here, and this is saying, hey, listen, there's a moderate risk. So the chances of a fire spreading rapidly in conditions that we are going to have are high for it to spread rapidly because of the gusty winds. So look at the fire outlook here for tomorrow. And you can see here, we're within that critical phase right here. So again, that's the gusty winds, that's the low relative humidity. So let's take a look at the winds and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So today they were a little gusty, right? But as we go into Saturday, look what happens. Of course, the winds died down overnight to tomorrow morning. But you can see those gusts are 25 to even over 30 miles per hour. Now this is certainly a little alarming because we haven't been looking at gusts this strong over the last few weeks. So these are some of the stronger winds that we've seen in a while. And on top of that, look at this right. This is what I was talking about, how this is not part of the red flag warning. But look at all these deep reds in here. I mean, you're getting in the 40, even close to 50 mile an hour range here when we're talking about these winds. Really more like 30 to 40, quite honestly. But those are some pretty gusty winds there. That's dangerous if a fire starts. Now, it's mainly off in this area right here, but even down to the south into Lassen County. Again, keep in mind, Lassen County not under the red flag warning as of this recording, but as we take a look at Sunday, we see the winds die down Sunday morning, but Sunday afternoon, the winds pick up again. But notice the winds aren't as strong on Sunday. Now, keep in mind, too, there is, for Modoc County, a fire weather watch as of this recording for Modoc County. That could change. It could eventually, as we get closer to Sunday, turn into a red flag warning. But as of right now, you can see the winds not quite as strong on Sunday as they'll be on Saturday. And the humidity levels, well, I mean, that pretty much goes without saying. It's dry out there, and it will be dry as we go into, look at the single digits here. Some very low relative humidity levels, including the valley. We're down to about 10%. Then on Sunday, we've got some low humidity levels. Once again, just as bad, actually, as we're going to see on Saturday. But look at this as we go into Sunday night, or Sunday evening here. Those humidity levels going up a little bit, but not by much. Okay, so the reason for the gusty winds is this right here. We got a swirling area of low pressure, and as it swoops down to the south and southeast, we're going to get that upper level flow right on top of Northern California. And what that does is it equates down to the surface to some gusty winds. Now, another thing I want to talk about is the monsoon moisture. You may remember when I was talking about in the weather headlines, the potential for monsoon thunderstorms. Well, take a look at this. As we go into Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to see that monsoon moisture work its way up. Now, what we've seen in the past is just a lot of the mid-level and high-level moisture moving in, giving us those mid-level and high-level clouds, but really not much in the way of thunderstorms. But if you look closely, I'm going to stop this here as we go into Wednesday. You'll notice we've got some thunderstorms here. If you look really closely, there's a thunderstorm right there and the thunderstorm off to the north. So essentially what's happening is we are seeing that potential by the middle to latter part of next week to maybe see some thunderstorms. And if you look closely, in extreme northern portions of, say, looks like even close to Siskiyou County, maybe some thunderstorms there as well. So again, we're seeing that potential kind of popping up here. This is something that is going to change as we get closer to that time frame. But we've got to watch for that potential for thunderstorms developing toward the middle and latter part of next week. Now the heat. Let's talk about the heat. You know, the heat's down to the back over Texas again. This cooler air kind of riding and keeping that heat from moving in. But look at this. The heat then kind of returns, but it will be down to our south. And I'm expecting that eventually this cooler air here will ride down, not only squash that heat, but bring us not only cooler air, but maybe some showers and more thunderstorms. Now this is a long ways out. This is not this Sunday, but it's a week from Sunday. So then as we go into that next week, we'd be looking at that potential for more activity. So a lot to really watch here as we go in the next couple of weeks. We're seeing some potential for some changes, but overall, get out there and enjoy this beautiful weather this weekend because it's not going to be that bad when we look at the highs for tomorrow. Temperatures in the mid to upper 90s for your Saturday. Think of the weekends past, well over 100 degrees, 110, 115, right? Now we're not seeing that. We're in the mid to upper 90s. We'll certainly take that. And for the mountains, maybe you're heading out to go on a nice hike, maybe heading out one of the beautiful waterfalls in the area. Hey, nice weekend for it. Temperatures in the 80s for most of us in the higher elevations. So we look at that 7-day forecast, and what you're going to see here is that it's temperatures for Mount Shasta, Siskiyou County, upper 80s, low 90s for the next 7 days. That's the case for Alturas, Modoc County in general. For Susanville in the eastern mountains, upper 80s, low 90s. Not much change we were talking about. Here's a look at your 7-day outlook for the valley. Also, not much change. Yeah, we're going to see a spike here and there. We're going to see a drop here and there as well. But overall, temperatures in the upper 90s, give or take, for Redding. For Red Bluff, same situation. For Chico, in the mid 90s, give or take, for the next 7 days.